Hey everybody, today's book review is on Jim Butcher's Summer Night, and this is the fourth book of the Dresden Files. It's named after Harry Dresden, who is the main character, and he's like a wizard in the modern world, but he kind of plays a role of like a private investigator or like a detective. You know, someone you hire like on the sidelines. You know, he's not really like a real detective or a real private investigator, but he basically does that kind of dialogue and that type of feel, and but it's with magic, and it's with whoever hires him and whoever pays him. Sometimes he works with the police, sometimes he works for like a private person, like you or I could go hire him, but in this particular book he's getting hired by a fairy. So this book involved more of the supernatural world, which in here is called like Never Never, or the Never Never. And then I guess the mortal world is called the world. I don't know. So I guess they're like connected, but they're apart. So it's kind of weird to explain, but that's how it works. So we also get the White Council and how they work a little bit, and like how they feel towards Harry Dresden. And Harry Dresden is so much more like different than the rest of the wizards, who are kind of old-fashioned, I guess. So he doesn't like politics at all. He doesn't like the fairy politics. He doesn't like the wizard politics. He doesn't like the vampire politics. And so it's all crazy. So in this one, I guess like in the previous book, he basically started a war between the wizards and the vampires. And like in this book, you know, he has to do something with the fairies in order to like, for the White Council to see that he's useful. And so they don't like give him over to the vampires, because the vampires said they'll stop all the killing if they just hand over Harry Dresden. But some of the wizards are like, hey, that's not fair. We can't just hand over one of our own. So like, it's not guaranteed that they're going to stop once we give him Harry Dresden. So, you know, Harry Dresden kind of had to work with the fairy, which he didn't want to do, but he was forced in like more than one way. So that was interesting. And at the end, you don't really get much about the White Council and what they did after Harry Dresden solved the fairy court's problems, but I think they might just talk about that in the next book. So I hope we get to see more of the White Council, because I like the wizards, because they like come in all shapes and sizes. Like there's this Native American one, and he's kind of like a shaman, more of a type of guy, but he's still a wizard. So it's just awesome. And I hope he does do more team-ups with people like Michael, like in the previous book. He didn't really do that in this book, but we did get like a surprise character from his past, so that was awesome. But it wasn't like Michael, and it wasn't like that kind of a team-up. So I hope we get more team-ups like Michael, because I thought that was absolutely awesome. And his like idea of like the modern paladin, I don't know what they're called in here. I forgot, but I call them modern paladins. So anyways, I really like this book. I did like Grave Peril more because it was more emotionally tied, and this one wasn't. So I guess I give it like a 9 out of 10, because it wasn't as great as Grave Peril. Like I loved Grave Peril. That was like my favorite. And while I did enjoy this book a lot, I can't really say like, oh my god, I loved it, even though I did like it a lot. It's hard to explain. It's not 10 out of 10, but it's 9 out of 10. So that's my final verdict. And I know my Jim Butcher reviews are like really short, but you know, those are my notes. Oh, these are my notes. But they're short and they're really easy reads. So there's not much to say about each book. I just can tell you what I thought and basic storyline, because I can't give away too much, because I'll just be like totally ruin it for you guys. So that's why my Jim Butcher reviews are like 5 minutes, because they're not very complex and they don't have a lot going on in them. It's mostly just one main problem they focus on. So that's it. 9 out of 10. And I'm reading A Dance with Dragons right now, so you guys know how fat that book was, so that might take me a while. So there might not be any book reviews for quite some time, because I'm going to be reading A Dance with Dragons, but that's what you guys wanted me to do, so don't complain. Bye!